a special case for the full screen, so that if we are in full screen and it's an active radio, then we would display the same one that we see right now. The problem that I'm having is if I'm in full screen, I have to decide which banner to display, if it's from the receiver 1 or 2, so that will be more complex. But I think on all the screens I will put the left banner at the bottom. I'll put the right banner so that you can select the clock also. And then once we will see multiple streams, we'll see how it looks for the 4 and the 6. Well, for the 4 and the 9. I doubt that we'll ever get more than 9 streams, but we'll see. We need to get more people on active streams so that we can test the configuration. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan in action.
That's right. Let me do some more code changes.
This is on the O8 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It goes to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain. There it spits out an image at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, please Google WATS, WW7ATS, WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, a little bit of the history of our organization. Also on that front page you'll find a link to YouTube where we stream our nets, held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08, known as the 08 machine. Also, you will need a tone of 103.5 to communicate with this net. Again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before the net gets fully underway. So with that, I'll pause. Again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Checked in by this net by the video link already is Ron, KD7QKU, Lee, N7KC, K7ITX Richard, W7ITL Tacoma, N7QO in Covington, James WU7N in Northeast Bellevue, and from Clyde Hill, Carlos 87NP. And I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. If there's anybody else who would like to check into the net. Hearing none, we'll start off the net with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. KD7.
QKU here. I haven't seen what. There's my picture. Okay. Well, see, I did say KD7QKU, I believe. It's nice to see everyone, and good evening, everyone. I'm thinking of what I did. I got a haircut today. I guess I was due. I did go for a walk around the block, and then our house faces south, and our patio's on the northeast corner, so it's always in the shade. So if I want to sit in the sun, I have to open the garage door. So I keep one of those fold-up recliners, and so I went and got my iPad and opened up the recliner, and I sat down there and I watched a preseason Major League Baseball game. At least I started to. If I sit down like that, it doesn't take very long until I go to sleep. So I don't know. I didn't see much game, I guess. But I saw enough of it, I suppose. Yeah, that little iPad, I've really been enjoying it. We have Rainier Connect for our streaming television, and I downloaded that app on the iPad so I can watch television on the iPad, so that works out good. It's amazing how long the battery lasts in it. I must have watched that ball game for an hour or so, and I didn't use 25% of the battery, I don't think, so anyway. You only have to charge it every couple of days. So I've really enjoyed it so far. So, like I say, it's nice to see everyone, so back to net KD7QKU.
Thanks with that, Ron. So next up is Lee in Port Angeles, N7KC.
Okie doke, N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Good evening, all. I see that Richard is on the Echo Link. Echo Link doesn't sound quite like it has been. It's well, for one thing, there's terrific bursts of noise, the squelch tail, I guess. And Dave sounded like he was a million miles away, but he came up a little bit that time. Nothing to report here. I just wanted to check in and just I didn't get a nap today, and it was an awful busy day for me. So I'm toast. I'm no good. So I thought I would just check in and say hello, and then go on my easy chair and take a snooze. That's probably what's coming up for me. Anyway, it's good to see you all. Yeah, I'd love to hear. I don't know. Is Carlos you got a report on what the horse event was like, Carlos? I was going to say I'd like to hear that if you're going to do it. Hang around and maybe you'll mention something about that. That's very interesting. So I don't have anything else. I don't hear a peep on 708 over here tonight. I turned the squelch off so I wouldn't have any issues like that, and I still never heard anything happen. So conditions are poor tonight for getting over the hill. Back to you, Dave, in 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
N7KC, thanks with that. Well, coming up next is Richard down in Arizona, K7ITX.
Whoa, okay, well, I guess I'm transmitting. My whole screen lit up red. Can you guys hear me okay? Can I give a thumbs up if you can hear me? Can't hear me. Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay, there's the thumbs up. There it is. Oh, well, my screen is, you know how apps can change over the course of time, and I've never had the whole screen light up where I'm transmitting. So it's just the button. Anyway, yeah, long day of medical procedures, CT scan early in the morning, blood draw, consultation later in the afternoon. It actually, it's become old hat. I've got my strategy down. They have theirs. Anyway, it's just what it is. So I'm audio only tonight as I get my stuff together. K7ITX back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks with that. Now down to Tacoma to Wade, W7ITL.
All right, well, just give me a second, guys. I am doing both things tonight, so it's a little bit nerving. There we go. You should see my picture now. So since last night, I've been working on a few things. I got a preamp in the mail. I don't know if I can show it here. And well, preamp. I wrapped it in 4 different heat sinks, and right now we're getting say about 53 degrees Celsius when it's under full load and running for about an hour. So right now I'm just trying to get it just right. I ordered a new power supply for it. Right now it's just running a straight 24 volt power supply, and I ordered a variable one so I can try to get it more linear, because right now it gets about 24 dBs linear. I want to get it to about 27 so I can fully drive the Kuni. So that's that. I've been doing a lot of testing on it today. That's about all I've been working on. Carlos has been working on a few more things than I have, as far as the repeater. So right now, you may have noticed that I've been doing the video into the repeater for Discord, and that's over our new RTMP internet streaming into the repeater. Eventually, that will progress into auto switching and some other really neat features like turning the repeater on when it sees an internet signal. That's about it for me tonight, and I just realized that I wasn't transmitting on RF this whole time. You were just probably hearing me over digital TV. So for those folks that weren't watching on YouTube or have an RF link, apologize for not transmitting on RF for the audio. So it is I wish I had it so I didn't have to do both. So, but right now, I just got to remember to PTT when I'm talking to you guys. But that's that for this round. This is W7ITL. Back to net.
W7ITL, thanks for that. Well, let's make a trip to Covington to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Ron, haircut. Seems like you got one not too awfully long ago. I think I got one before the last 2 haircuts that you got. Not that my hair seems to be growing long. I don't know, now that I'm older, it just doesn't seem to grow as much as it used to, which is both good and bad. I don't know, it's not like I have any bald spots or anything. I did recently see a picture of myself, which someone took a few days ago, and oh man, I look like a Q-tip, and my wife has been trying to get me to dye my hair for a few years. I've been apprehensive about doing that, but I don't know, maybe I should consider that. Anyway, don't particularly need a haircut. Lee, yeah, tired. Understand you cannot hear us on the 08 machine. Well, glad that you joined us anyway, and take a break if you need to. Dick, yeah, I was going to comment. I don't have a picture on you, but then you commented audio only tonight, and me too, for that matter. Medical procedures today. I know you've got to be getting tired of that. Sorry, guy, hang in there. I don't know. Don't know how long it'll be before it's over, but they've got to decide that you're good to go home pretty soon, I would think. And Wade, yeah, I heard you just fine over the television repeater, but not over 08 until you figured it out there.
a couple guys were trying to tell you over the 08 machine that you are not transmitting on 2 meters, so they blocked maybe about half of what you said before you picked up the mic. But looks like you're working on something there for the ATV anyway. So good to see everyone. I've got a decent picture from the 1.2 gigahertz downlink tonight. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. Well, let's go to Northeast Bellevue. James, WU7N.
Connected N7KC. Game napping. That's when you start watching the game, but then it turns into an, oh, what? Am I intermittent? Should be coming through, I would think. Now? Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I was going to say, Ron, that's called game napping, is when you start to watch a game and then you realize you're taking a nap. That's what a friend of mine calls it. He had a father that... I'll try it again here. Turned up the power a little bit. Well, I was saying a friend of mine had his father would do the same thing with the Wall Street Journal. He would go out to study the Wall Street Journal, and then within 5 or 10 minutes he was unconscious laying in the sun with the Wall Street Journal over his head. So apparently it predates games, game napping. I'm glad that you could make it tonight. Looks like one advantage when feeling like that all day is that you definitely sleep well the following night. At least I do. Whenever I get off the plane or something and my sleep cycles are all messed up and I stay up for an extended period of time, then that first night sleeping, it's wow, you really sleep well. I'm seeing a second picture on the digital side, so someone's retransmitting me. I'm going to assume that's probably Wade. I'm brown on the retransmit picture, and I'm clear on my picture. So this is interesting. Someone will have to explain to me what they're doing there. Hey, Richard, I'd say you had a drawn-out day, or maybe it's a blood-drawn-out day. I'm not sure, but I'm sorry that you're going through all that, but it sounds like you handle it really well. My day, boy, I took advantage of the sunshine today, got out, did a few errands, walked up and down the hills, talked to some neighbors. I am loving this weather. It's not too cold, not too hot, all sunshiny. It's nice to get vitamin D for a brief few days of the year in the Northwest without having to take it out of a pill bottle. So anyway, that's the excitement here at WU7N location in Northeast Bellevue. Let's turn it back to our net control. Take it away, Dave.
WU7N, thanks for that. I'll get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go visit Clyde Hill, Carlos, 87NP.
Got it. All right, 87MP here on the mix of on the DATV repeater and on the streaming. So as Lee, that's right. There was some horse jumping activity. After we finish the net, I'll show some of the video on the Discord channel. But continuous activities on trying to make this scene change on the repeater kind of a little more automatic. So you will see some of these changes as Wade and I are operating, but the idea, hopefully, if I get this thing right, is that we would all be able to stream even if don't have the transmitter, just using the PC, transmit your stream directly into the repeater, and then depending on the number of the active streams, we can either show 1, 4, or 9 streams at the same time, which I think we'll cover, and then we'll try to figure out how to make all the audio work. I think I had shown, I think last week, I think I have a solution for Wade's problem. Wade, we also have to put some hardware there. So this is the little module, which is basically a radio on a kit that you can just inject audio, and you can set to a specific frequency and PL tone. Right now I have it. And so if we put this on the DATV repeater, then we can also just send the audio during the nets into the 08. And we can also connect the All-Star. So we have multiple ways of solving problems, even when anyone forgets about it. So we'll try to figure it out. On everything else, it's been quite a busy week. I think we're missing Bob, but it's good to see you all. So I'm gonna return back to the net control, Dave. This is from 87MT. Here.
I had finished. I had passed back to the last, but back to today. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Carlos. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. I've got 46 degrees and cloudy. Did some chores around the house today, got caught up with that. Outside of that, it's sort of an R&R day for me. I had a little bit of a cold earlier in the week, and I think I'm pretty much over it today, so I'm feeling a lot better, but I fell asleep just before the show watching news tonight. Of course, news is not that exciting to want to watch, so that's put me in la-la land. But that's about it. And anyway, again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. On the 08 machine. Well, with that, let's bop up to Ron, KD7KQU.
Okay, thanks Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, let's see. I was over to Wade's yesterday afternoon. He's ordering Joanne a new computer. Joanne's had the same computer for many Christmas, I don't know how many years. I guess we could look it up, but I bought it a long time ago. And I've been buying myself some goodies. I bought the TV equipment, and then I bought that iPad, and I was feeling guilty, I guess, so I asked her, would you like to have a new computer? She said sure. So Wade ordered it, and it'll be here in a while, and then we can get it installed. Wade will help me hook it up for me. It's going to be a wireless keypad, wireless mouse, and we'll see how she does with that. So let's see, it's nice of you to be working on that stuff, Carlos. We sure appreciate it. The pictures are so darn good, it's just almost unbelievable. Oh, when I was over to Wade, he told me he had a call from Adam. I was thinking Wade was going to talk about this, but maybe he's not. Steal all of his thunder here. He had a call from Adam from the Tacoma Ham Club, and I guess he invited us to put a receive antenna up at least, and then you can receive the pictures over at Ham Club. They thought that would be nice, and so we're happy to do that. So hopefully, I don't know if we'll ever put in a transmitter. Wade can address that better than I can. I have a 70 centimeter beam Yagi that's real nice. I would donate to that cause. I guess we're going to have to get a 23 centimeter antenna. I don't know, maybe I'll step forward and get that when the time comes. Anyway, we'll see how that works out. But I think maybe we could pick up a new member or two if we had it over there. Some of the people show some interest. I have no idea where they live. They live all over, so who knows, but it'd be nice to pick up a couple more members. So anyway, hopefully that'll come about this spring. So I guess that's about all I have. So I guess back to net, KD7QK.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. And let's move over to Port Angeles to Lee N7KC.
Okay, here we go, N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Well, we had a smidge of rain last night, 0.056 inches, better than nothing. So, you know, we're getting pretty dry over here. We'd like to get a little more rain. The Weather Bureau says it's going to rain, but it doesn't. So there you go. I really don't have much else. I'm all tapped out here, so I'll send it back to you, Dave, and I will just quietly fade away here. And sitting down and doing something and dozing off is well, you know, Granddad used to do it. We all laughed about it, and now I get the taste of that sort of thing. Yeah, it's okay, I guess. You know, that's the nature of things. So anyway, with that, I'll say good evening, all. This is Lee at 7KC in Port Angeles. We'll see you down the pike. Go ahead, Dave.
N7KC, thanks for that. And fade away is one thing that's better than becoming a silent key. So anyway, get a little R&R. Let's go down to Richard, K7ITX in Arizona.
Yeah, okay, well, the weather has turned cold on. Well, gee whiz, I just sat to this broken stool that I shouldn't try to sit to. But anyway, the weather down here has turned cool on us, which, you know, it's good and bad. It's kind of a recovery from when it was 80 to 90. We expect it to get back up around at least in the mid-70s when we go to the baseball game on Sunday. It's just one of those things that this time of year I think is a little bit more unpredictable, and so I feel unfortunate for my brother-in-law who made the trip down here. I wish he would have flown down and he could have gotten a lot more of the better weather, but I don't know. We'll see.
K7ITX, K7ITX, thanks with that. Let's move on to Tacoma to Wade, W7ITL.
All right. Well, it's been it's a little tough doing both the moving the screens and doing the net at the same time. It's a little easier now that Carlos has got some of the screens switching. We're gonna get that dialed in a little better so that we can focus more on the net. And let's see. I'll comment on what Ron had said. Yeah, so I'm working with the Radio Club at Tacoma to get a setup for our receive and signal. So they're going to be able to show that to the students that are getting their license. And so that'll be a way to put exposure to them so that maybe we can get some more members or more interest in the hobby of digital television, so amateur television. So that's that. And Lee, I used to joke about that with my my grandpa too. He'd always fall asleep. So I'm not quite there yet, but I do feel tired. Not as vibrant as I was when I was a youth. As I get a little older, hopefully I'm not silent key by the time I get to your age. But that's that. I'll turn it back to Net Control. This is W7ITL.
W7ITL, thanks with that. And I better get a quick ID here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. On the 08 machine, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's move to Covington, N7QO, Jim.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, I saw a good-looking picture there. I think we got everything you said. Yeah, you did blank out a couple of times, but I don't know. No one knows. That's a big mystery. Good luck troubleshooting that problem. Carlos, thanks to you, and also to Wade, and for that matter, for whoever else is doing work on the improving our repeater system. We appreciate it. Good-looking pictures from you, Carlos, as well. Lee, good to see you. Good night. Almost all of us understand. Dick, well, your brother-in-law may have driven down there, but at least they have a car to drive around a little bit now. Maybe do a little bit of tourist stuff or something, and have a car anyway. And you mentioned the Phoenix City Grill. I'm not familiar with that. If you remember, please tell me whereabouts it is. Is it somewhere there in Gilbert or Chandler or Mesa or wherever? Just curious. Wade, thanks for managing the switching, what you're doing there. Yeah, it's kind of complicated here. And as for being tired, yeah, I complained to my doctor, let's see, it was more than 10 years ago. It was a little bit before I turned 60. I said that I get tired, more tired than I used to, and I don't quite have the energy that I used to, and he said, quote, "That is normal for someone your age." And I'm like, gee, thanks, Doc. What I want you to do is tell me what I can do to fix the problem. And I don't know, he didn't recommend any sort of uppers or anything, so I guess the solution is just to take a nap when you need it. N7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. Now let's go to Northeast Bellevue to James, WU7N.
Okay, I'm putting out, I think, about 15 watts now. Ron, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me there. Okay, all right. Well, I'm not sure why I should have to put out 15 watts for something that's a couple miles away and there's nothing between me and the antenna. But it did occur to me, I was reading an article today on the history of atomic time. I didn't realize this, but the concept is as early as the 1870s. Can you believe that? There were brilliant people in the 1870s who were trying to figure out how to make an atomic clock. Didn't really happen until the 1940s, but that just amazes me, people that can think that far into the future. But it did occur to me that maybe this old radio just needs a good old-fashioned alignment. I think there's actually pots and twisty things in there you can do to fix that stuff. I'll have to get a frequency counter and see if I can do that. And the other experiment I would think I was going to run was with a handheld, but run into the same feed line and antenna and see if we get the same kind of problem. Because if I don't, then it is this transceiver. Anyway, that's my plans here for my approach of trying to troubleshoot why I would need this much power and why this drops in and out. I don't know. I think you got three choices here as you get into your old age. You can either take naps and take care of yourself, or you can drink more coffee, or then there's always methamphetamine, which I'm told will solve your problems, but because you only live for 9 more months, but you don't sleep during that entire 9 months, so you get a lot done. So I guess those are the three choices. I'm going to go for the naps and maybe the occasional cup of coffee. There's a store called Grocery Outlet, and they're going to be my undoing because they have these really expensive gourmet coffee drinks in cans. But by the time they get them, that's what Grocery Outlet does. They buy stuff just before the punch date, and so they're really inexpensive. So I got to stay away from that store because, man, those are tasty, and they have caffeine in them. So, well, let's see. Code lesson and the static lesson is over. This is a repeater with what you call a lot of personality. Well, the other thing I still have to do, let's see, I have to rekey some locks around the house here. I have a back door with no doorknob on it. I probably really should fix that someday. I'm going to have to go somewhere for an extended period of time, and I don't think the duct tape is dependable for a good barrier. So I got to get that done, and then put a faucet in too. Actually, I have 2 entire bathrooms to completely redo, so I've got to learn about how to do that. And oh yes, I called Harbor Freight about the multi-tool little cover piece that's missing. I did find the cover piece. I think I can actually repair it, but it wasn't a good sign. I typed the number into the Harbor Freight's parts web page, and they came up with nothing for that. So I think I'm probably just going to take what I got and use the old super glue mixed with graphite and make my own part there. It won't look as cool as what comes out of a 3D printer, but it'll probably do the job. So that's all the excitement here. 20 minutes left of the net. Let's turn it back to Dave, our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
WU7N, thanks with that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. And I can't believe it. It's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Well, let's move on to Carlos, 87NP, and we need a report on the horse show. How'd that go?
Alright, this is 87NP, and wait, let me just try something here. Oh, no, it's not there. I was trying to show one of my streams which wasn't there. Whoops. So the activity has some curiosity. So it's not me writing, but it's my younger daughter, and basically, oh, seems like my repeater signal disappeared. Let's go back. All right. It's basically usually it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and so we usually arrive at location on Thursday night, and then every day I have to wake up at 5 a.m. because we got to be there really early. And usually the different classes, um, kind of every participation takes about 2 minutes and a half, and usually I think there were days that she had like 4 classes, and then they get judged. Um, um, and so for the courses, um, they have to jump over the fences. There's a certain duration and strides that have to happen between the different fences, and you have to really memorize the course before you start. And so when you do 4 in a row, it gets complicated because they are all different. And then in the end, you get some points. There was one of the classes. There were like I think 30 or 40 horses. It was kind of, they take a long time, and you gotta wait there. It's a very interesting industry, and especially that one there in that park. This was the thermal park. They do video streaming from all the different rings, so they definitely have a business for the rest of the family to watch. I was the only parental unit there, so the remaining family watched remotely, which is always nice. And then come Sunday, it's kind of time to come back. So we'll just we'll do a timeout here. 87 MP back on the air. So we have been to Canada. Usually here in Washington, it's in Monroe at the Equestrian Park. I think in April we're gonna go there again. Usually the horses travel by trailer. Kind of the barn will take the horses between the different locations. I think our barn had about like 30 horses that were down there. And in total, I would say, gosh, there are so many barns, probably more than 1,000 horses were there at the same time. So that's quite an event to observe. And as I said, kind of over Discord there, then I'll show a little bit. I prefer to not leave these images on YouTube later, so I'll show you guys on Discord afterwards. Very good. Back to net control. Dave from 87 MP.
87 MP, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Well, it looks like we might have a little bit of light at the beginning of our net coming up here pretty soon. Daylight savings time comes in this Sunday, so that'll be a nice experience, although it won't be all that bright up at 9 o'clock, but at least by 7 o'clock there should be some pretty nice light and weather out there we'll be able to enjoy. And I want to thank Carlos for the report on his daughter's expedition horse competition. It sounds exciting. I guess we will be seeing her in the Olympics coming up here pretty soon at the rate she's progressing with her trade. So anyway. That sounds good. Well, with that, I haven't got anything else to add, but I'm going to send it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thanks, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, Carlos, that sounds like it was a really big event. And my golly, if there was 1,000 horses there, for peace sakes. Yeah, there'd be a lot of young ladies. I don't know, maybe they're boys too that participate. It'd be fun to watch. Must be a big facility down there that they can, have that many participants. Golly. So I guess you just have to take your lawn chair and find a good spot on the course and just sit there and watch the horses go by. That'd be fun. I saw them, on the Olympics, and it was kind of exciting. I suppose it's a little dangerous too. I suppose sometimes they don't make it when they jump. Hopefully they are all okay and they make it. Switch over to James. James, your transmitting is just fine. This when you let up on your microphone and you start to transmit again. You'll start out good, but when you let up, of course we hear all the static crash, and then sometimes you have difficulty coming back in, and then you get going again. So if you wouldn't let up on the microphone, it would probably be better. You wouldn't drop out. And Jim, yeah, I don't know, it seems like my hair grows fast. I did have a haircut not too long ago. My wife said the same thing, but I like it kind of short. So anyway, as far as using color in your hair, I guess I wouldn't suggest it. You're fine just the way you are. We all get gray. I remember when I started getting gray, it was a little shocking, but I got used to it, and so did everybody else. I remember I hadn't seen somebody for quite a while, and they said, "Gee, Ron, you sure got gray." And that's when I realized I was getting gray. But that's what happens when you get old. So let's see, I don't have any big plans coming up. We go over and see the sister and brother-in-law and have coffee or exchange dinner with them every now and then, at least once a week. We used to do it twice a week, but everybody kind of got busy. I brought along the dominoes the other day. I thought maybe we could play dominoes, a simple game. We play a few games with them. We like simple games that you can carry a conversation. You don't have to concentrate on the game either. Draw a card or roll the dice, and it's just a game of chance. But we hadn't done dominoes, so I brought the dominoes over, but then it was the Academy Awards. They were giving out the Oscars, and so my wife and her sister wanted to see the people's dresses and stuff, so no dominoes, so we had to sit through that. That was not my best evening. All right, with all that, I'll send it back to that KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. Let's pick up Richard, K7ITX in Arizona.
Okay, well, let's see, to answer Covington Jim's question, the Phoenix City Grill is pretty much next to the corner of Bethany Home and North 16th, if that means anything to you. And that's just a couple blocks from where I live. So, anyway, the interesting story about it was my brother-in-law who drove down, just kind of got a wild hair to come down and be with his wife while she's taking care of me. He has a brand new Subaru, and the electronic screen on the interior blanked out on him during part of the trip. So that was pretty frightening. But here he is, at my Subaru dealer. So that was helpful for him, and he made it okay, of course. But boy, that's something I sure wouldn't have wanted to do by myself. He did it in 2 nights, from Winthrop, Washington to my house in Phoenix. God. So I guess there's this one stretch between Orient, Oregon, and I want to say Eli, Nevada. It's just he says the loneliest highway in the world. Anyway, that's all I know. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks with that. And we need to go to master control to get Wade. W7I.
All right, well, I gotta switch myself back to webcam. There we go. Hey, so it's been a good net. I'm gonna say I'm pretty worn out, so I'm not gonna have much more to say other than Carlos. It sounds like you had a lot of fun with your daughter with doing the horse jumping in California. I think that's where you were, or Arizona. I forget now. But yeah, that sounds a lot of fun. Let's see, and Richard going to that grill. That sounds really yummy. I'm glad that the video is also working very well for Jim tonight. Just using the same power output as I normally do during the net. If you look in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll see our frequency and the power settings. So it's using -16 during the net. I try to always set to -16 so Jim can see the picture, and hopefully we won't have to do that anymore once we get a new preamp up there. Maybe we just have favorable weather conditions today for RF, so we have to say thank you, RF gods, for making the signal very good today. All right, well, that is it. I will say 73. Probably won't make it to the next round. All right, this is W7ITL. Back to net.
W7ITL, thanks with that. We got your 7-3. And moving down the list, let's go to Jim in Covington, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Carlos, horse show. It sounds entertaining. Sounds like it's potentially exciting. I had a friend who did cutting horse competition when she was younger, and she thoroughly enjoyed that. Not sure exactly the nature of this competition which you were doing, but I thought you said something about you being the only adult supervision there. Now that sounds scary to me, but thank you for doing that. They need some volunteer. Ron, yeah, I don't know. My hair's fine, except when I look at myself in pictures, and I do have to admit, every morning I look in the mirror to shave, and it's like, hey, who's that old guy looking at me? But I've kind of grown accustomed to that, and I disregard that. But I saw a picture of myself lately, and it wasn't pretty. Oh, man. Oh, well. Dick, thanks for the information on that Phoenix City Grill. I'm not really familiar with that. It's been too many years since I've been that way, but I think that's something that probably was not there back in the 70s when I was there. I'll have to make a little mental note of that when I wind up visiting there sometime. I sure would like to do that, but having said that, I've been meaning to do that since the 70s, and I never quite got around to it. Oh well. And loneliest road in the world. Well, I wonder if they've been to Texas. My wife and I were driving from Houston to where was it? Harlingen. Anyway, we were driving to view this air show, an event. We started in South Texas, and we're driving south, and after 8 hours, we still weren't there, and my wife woke up and said, "Oh, surely we must be in Mexico by now," but we weren't. We were still in Texas, so I don't know. I guess every place has some lonely roads out there. You just gotta make sure you got enough gas to get between fuel stops. Well, thanks everyone. Good to see you. Good to see some pictures. And back to you, Dave and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. And let's go visit James in Northeast Bellevue, WU7N.
Testing. Okay, well, thanks again to Carlos and Wade for putting all the time into the software side of things up on the mountaintop. I really do appreciate that. I think everyone else does too. That's just fantastic. Really appreciate that. Let's see. The other thing I was going to say is, long drives. I have a niece that's an eternal optimist. She was driving with my sister across the Great Plains, and of course you just drive forever and ever and ever, and you just forget the fact the car's going 70 miles an hour because nothing changes all around you. It's like you're suspended on a little thread in the middle of some kind of a little model. And she goes, "Could you imagine what this would be like in a covered wagon?" So there's always something different there. Well, it looks like we are coming up to the top of the hour. I'm showing 8:58. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. We meet 8 p.m. Pacific Time on Wednesdays and Saturdays on the 08 repeater for audio. And you can also see us on the digital side too. Just ask. So this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let me turn it back to Dave, our net controller, to wrap this up.
WU7N, and we do have a few seconds left, and we'll let Carlos, 87NP, come in for the final.
Oops. Gotta press more buttons. 87 NP here. It's pretty good net. Appreciate everyone being around and using the different technologies available to connect. I think we're missing Bob tonight, so if he sees the recording, hope all goes well, and have a good night, everyone. I'll be around on the Discord for a little bit after. Thank you very much for the net today. Back to Dave, net control from 87 NP.
Thanks for that, Carlos. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. And as we close off the net, I'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, signing off the net at 9:01. Good evening all.